Howdy folks, hope you're all having a good one. As you can see, with the help of Akazuki, I'm setting up the game board for Alien Fate of the Nostromo for round 2. After getting my arse handed to me the first time I played, which isn't strictly true, the first time I recorded myself playing. Myself and Eddie played prior to that, each of us controlling 2 crewmen, and we absolutely got our arse handed to us. But before that, I played by myself. Oh, there she goes. And I only used a single member of crew, and I beat the game quite easily. It's possible that I wasn't playing it properly because it was the first time I played, but I honestly believe that this game has a sort of built-in difficulty grade. The game gets harder the more crew you're using, for a couple of reasons, mostly to do with the scrap tokens, because the scrap is required to make the equipment that's required to complete the objectives before you move on to your final mission. And with more crew, there are more objectives, more things that you need to make, more encounter phases at the end of every crewman's turn, which moves the alien around, which turns over cards, and the good cards, the quiet cards, the ones that actually generate scrap in the various different rooms around the ship. Once they're gone, they're gone. The bad cards, the ones that move the alien around, the ones that remove scrap from the board, they will often get shuffled right back into your encounter deck. So the longer the game takes, and a game with more players will take longer, the harder it's going to be, because you're going to run out of the good cards before you've gotten half of your objectives complete, and then there will be nothing but bad cards left. So I got my arse kicked with 3 members of crew. I think today, I know I can do it with 1 because I did the first time I played. I think today I'm going to try with 2, and I'm going to go with Captain Dallas and Chief Engineer Parker, and we'll see, assuming I don't screw everything up, if my theory is correct. So let's finish setting up the board and get started. Right, the thing that I like the most, I think, about Alien Fate of the Nostromo is that it's simple to learn. You can set everything up in 5 minutes, and a play session won't take more than an hour to an hour and a half. It's not like Arkham Horror, the board game, for example, which is a fantastic game, but you have to study the rules for 3 days before you even know how to set the board up. And once you get started, you'll still be playing 3 hours later. I mean, that's good in its own way, but sometimes you want something quick and easy. Well, maybe easy isn't the right word. We'll see how it goes. So, we have 2 crew, Dallas and Parker, which means you pick 2 objectives plus 1 for each crewman. So let's see what our initial objectives are. What's the damage? We have to put all crew members in the workshop. Okay, I've not actually had that one before. That could be a bit of a problem because the workshop is down here. It's right next to the alien nest. Okay, but we don't have to build anything or take anything specific there. The next objective shouldn't have landed on this ball. Bring a grapple gun to the garage, again, which is down here, right next to the alien nest. But I'm going to be needing grapple guns anyway to move the alien around. And the third objective is prep the suits. Drop 2 coolant canisters in the suit storage, which is here. So that's not too bad. Okay, so the alien has been placed in the nest. The crew morale marker is at the start position for 1 to 3 crew. The board has been seeded. We have scrap and coolant canisters and concealed tokens everywhere we're required to. We're ready to start. So, Parker or Dallas? I think I'll go first with Dallas. He has 5 actions, but no special abilities. And I'm going to move him 1, 2, 3, 4 to Mother and pick up the scrap in there. 2 pieces of scrap. So that's his 5 actions. Now we turn over an encounter card. It just occurs to me that I haven't actually shuffled the encounter deck. So I'll go ahead and do that now. And see what our first card is. Oh, I've also chosen the final mission, but we won't know what that is until we've completed these 3 objectives. So, our first encounter. It's an alien hunt card. Okay, well, yeah, fine. So the alien is going to move 2 spaces towards the nearest crewman, which is going to be Parker. Right. So 2 spaces, 1, 2. It's now 1, 2, 3, 4 away from Parker. This is the issue, because it's very tempting to go and grab all of the stuff in the computer room over here at Mother, because it's so close to the galley where everybody starts. But it's very easy to get trapped in there if you get some bad encounter card turnovers at the beginning. Also, if you're playing with more than 3, remember, I mean, it's Parker's turn now, because I'm only playing with 2, after turning over the encounter card from the end of Dallas's turn. So I'm easily able to ensure that Parker stays the hell away from the alien. If I was playing with more than 2 crew, there would be another encounter card turnover, and then another encounter card turnover before I could get back to Parker. And the alien is only 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces away from him. Another reason why playing with fewer crew members is actually good and makes the game easier. So Parker's turn. So he can spend an action to add 1 scrap to his inventory from the scrap pile. It's tempting to head straight to hypersleep to pick up that coolant, because Dallas is going to get the coolant from Mother, but then the alien is, he's going to get trapped in there with no way yet of actually moving that alien around. So I think what to do. I mean, keeping the crew together isn't always a bad idea, but the alien's going to head straight for them and potentially trap them when it reaches the galley. So I could see if I could lead the... I mean, there's nothing that Parker can really get. There's 2 scrap in the med bay, but that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 away, and it doesn't get him any further away from the alien. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's what to do. I could try to lead the alien around by keeping Parker the closest crewman to it. See, if I turn over another hunt card, it could move as far as 4 spaces. And I'll have to turn over another encounter card at the end of Parker's turn. I think I'm going to generate 1 scrap. Use his special action. That leaves him 3 actions. And just move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or alien movement here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I'll just move him here. And that gives me some more options for leading the alien around, chasing after the closest crewman. And that's the end of his turn. I don't dare move him any more than that, or the alien could get him, depending on what happens when I turn this encounter card over. Okay, it's a quiet card, which means that the alien moves 1, and this is now the closest way for it to get to Parker. It's only 1, 2, 3, 4 away, so it's going to move toward equipment storage. And we generate 3 scrap and 1 concealed token in the garage, which is here. So there is now a lot of scrap in the garage. 5 in total. Remember, you can pick up any amount of scrap with 1 action. We do not place a concealed token, however, because there's already 1 there. So that wasn't too bad. That's the end of Parker's turn. Back to Dallas. Dallas is going to pick up the coolant, because we do have to take 2 coolant to the suit storage in order to prep the suits. So that coolant gets picked up. It goes to the relevant part of Dallas's crew card. That's 1 action. He still has 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's all I can do with him. If I can continue to lead the alien after Parker, I could move Dallas around and pick up the second. Oh wait, you can only pick... Each member of the crew can only carry 1 coolant canister. Well, yeah. No, that's what I'll do. Yeah, that's the plan. The alien at the moment is heading this way because it's 3 away from Parker. That was Dallas. Let's see what happens with the encounter card, and then we'll decide. Yeah, here we go. Order 937. Ash, the crew don't realise he's an android planted on board the ship by the company, is collating data. Each crew loses 1 scrap. You see, this is what I'm talking about. these cards, I mean, I'm going to discard it now, but there's a card in there that shuffles all of these cards back into the deck. It's the same with these alien hunt cards. When you lose the signal, the alien goes back to the nest, but then you get a concealed token on every room in the ship that doesn't have one, and you shuffle all of the alien hunt cards back in the deck. But these quiet cards, the ones that don't move the alien much and give you scrap, you can never get them back, which is why the longer the game goes on, the harder it is. And the game will go on longer if you have a lot of crew. So that could have been better. But there is a lot of scrap here in the garage. And I need to make a grapple gun and bring it to the garage. Again, we'll see how things go. So that was Dallas's turn. Now it's Parker. I'm going to move Parker directly away from the alien. So Dallas is the closest crewman. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're going to try to get the alien to chase Dallas. We'll see what happens on this encounter card turnover. It's another quiet card. The alien moves 1. It's now in equipment storage, and it's 1, 2, 3 away from Dallas. But we generate 2 scrap and a concealed token in the docking bay, which is here. Oh, that is not good. A concealed token. Eesh. Okay, but we do get 2 scrap in there as well. Is it 2? Yes, it's 2. So, yeah. That complicated matters. Because now for Parker to get out, unless you have a motion tracker, you can't reveal what's on the other side of the concealed token from a distance. So Parker's either going to have to move through it in order to get out after picking up that coolant, or Dallas is going to have to move through it in order to keep leading the alien a merry chase. Fantastic. Okay, well, Dallas's turn. He has 1 scrap. You can't actually make anything with 1 scrap other than a cat carrier. But the only reason you would need a cat carrier is, well, depending on what happens on the final mission card. Although having a cat carrier does mean that you don't lose morale when you turn over a concealed token and Jonesy, the ship's cat, jumps out and scares you. Anyway, whatever. So, Dallas. This could be very bad, but we really, really need the scrap. So I'm going to move him 2. 1, 2. And now we turn over this concealed token. If it's the alien, I'm in the shit. It's not. There's nothing there. So that's good. That was 1, 2. And now we can pick up the scrap. 3. And now we can actually make something. So I am going to make a grapple gun, which will cost all 3 scrap. It's always best to make stuff with the scrap rather than keeping it on your crewman, because you can turn over an order 937 card, which loses your scrap. So he now gets a grapple gun. This is really good because, although it only has 2 uses, with the grapple gun you can move the alien, depending on how close it is. I think you need to be within 3 spaces, but you can move the alien 3 spaces in a direction of your choice. So I now have options, and it's going to come this way. Actually, hold on a minute. 1, 2, picked up the scrap. 3, made a grapple gun. 4, I still get to move 1. The alien's going to move this way now because Dallas is now the closest member of the crew. And I've just realised I do really need some kind of marker to because I'm already forgetting whose turn it is, or whose turn I've just had. So we're going to place Jonesy, not to scale, as our marker. Somebody actually suggested use a D6 or something, so that not only tells you how many actions people have left by the number on the dice, but also whose turn it is. And that's actually a good idea. I wish I'd remembered. But I didn't. So 1, 2, picked up the scrap, made the grapple gun. 3, 4, you can still move 1 square. 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't want to move him down here. I have no reason to go to the airlock. I think I'm just going to move him back here. So, that was Dallas's turn. What do I get in the encounter card? Oh, quiet. Alien moves 1 space. 1, 2, 3, 4 to Dallas that way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to Dallas that way. So the alien is going to move up here to suit storage. And we also get 2 scrap and a concealed token in the med bay. So the scrap is starting to pile up in the med bay. There's 4 in there now. But we also get a concealed token, which is less than optimal. And that card gets discarded. Now, Parker. Parker's picking up the coolant. 1, he's in hypersleep. 2, picks up the coolant. He can now move 2 spaces. So I'm thinking, because obviously it's going to be Dallas's turn next, and he now has a grapple gun. And 1, 2, the alien's 3 spaces away, although it's going to move closer, and he can then use that grapple gun to move the alien around. And I think I might like to move the alien towards the bridge. That would give me a clear run to the workshop, because we do need to get all crew members to the workshop to finish one objective. Although we also need to bring a grapple gun to the garage, which could be the next thing that we do. But I need to not exhaust the grapple gun. Anyway, Parker's taken 2 actions. He's moved to hypersleep, he's picked up the coolant, so he gets another 2. 1, 2. That's it for his turn. Another quiet. Oh, that's actually quite useful. The alien moves 1. It's going to move toward Dallas, he's the nearest crew. And we get quiet in the hypersleep chamber, which generates 2 scrap in the hypersleep and 1 concealed token in the hypersleep. But I don't need to go back to hypersleep unless I want to pick up that scrap. So again, that's not too bad. That was Parker's turn. Dallas. I don't think I actually need to use the grapple gun yet, because I would move the alien 3 spaces. See, I could move it 1, 2, 3 and put it on the bridge, but then it's only 3 away from Dallas. But Dallas could then leg it, because that's only 1 action. 2, 3, 4, 5 and be in the workshop. He would then have to turn over a concealed token, which could draw the alien straight down there, which would be bad. I could really use a motion tracker, but I don't have the scrap for it yet. There's a lot of scrap in the med bay, but there's also a concealed token. Mind you, there's a lot of scrap in the garage, but there's also a concealed token. There's some scrap. How much is a motion? Not motion, yeah, motion detector, 2 scrap. Oh, I could take a chance here. Because to get to the workshop, which is what I'm going to do next, I do have to move through maintenance, and there's a concealed token there. As long as that's not an alien, this would work. So I am not going to use the grapple gun and hope that I don't get a bad movement card for the alien, in which case it will get Parker. But I'm just going to go 1, 2. Hope that's not the alien. Turn it over. Oh, it is. No. Oh well. So, bad things happen. The alien moves straight down here. That immediately ends Dallas's turn. So he loses all the rest of his actions. There was a 2 on the concealed token, which means the crew take 2 morale damage. Dallas must now run 3 spaces away from the alien. On the bright side, I don't have to turn over an encounter card now and move the alien again, because this is a surprise attack. So I would like to just move Dallas to here, and then on his next turn use the grapple gun to move the alien away, but I can't. I have to move 3 spaces. So here's where I'm going to take a big, big risk. 1, 2, 3. We'll put him in the garage. And he has a grapple gun, and that would complete that objective. But there's also a concealed token. And, well, it would complete the objective anyway, because as soon as I bring, you don't have to use it, as soon as you bring a grapple gun to the garage, that objective's complete. But if that is also an alien, I think it's going to be worth the risk. We'll move them 3 away. 1, 2, 3. Okay, that objective is now complete. We have brought the grapple gun to the garage. So Cool. 2 objectives to go. It's all going to depend on what this is. Okay, that could have been a lot worse. It's Jonesy the cat. Jonesy jumps out and scares the bejesus out of Dallas, which does 1 morale damage, but I can handle that right now. Now we have Dallas. He doesn't need the coolant canister, he's got one, but we have him in the garage with 5 scrap. So I can make an incinerator on my next turn, assuming he doesn't get jumped by the alien again. Don't have to turn over an encounter card because we've got a surprise attack by turning over that concealed token. So it goes back to Parker. And I think I am going to go for the prep suits objective and move Parker 1, 2, 3, 4 to the suit storage. He can't drop the coolant yet because that's an action. But while there are no concealed tokens there, while the alien is a fair distance away from there and it's going to go after Dallas next anyway, that's good. So on the next turn, Parker gets to drop his coolant canister. I do have to turn an encounter card over. Please don't be a stalk or a hunt card. Quiet in the airlock, so it only moves 1. This is good. This is really, really good. It does generate 2 scrap in the airlock, which is here, and a concealed token in the airlock. But I don't need to go to the airlock for anything, at least not until I turn over the final mission. And I might need to go to the airlock, so that's amazing. That was Parker's turn. It's now Dallas's turn. He's going to pick up all of that scrap. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can make anything with 5 scrap. Now I don't need an incinerator to complete any of these objectives. I may need one soon. Depends on what the final mission is. I can use that grapple gun. Now I no longer need to save it for bringing a grapple gun to the workshop, and I can, that's 1 action to pick up the scrap. I can use his 2nd action. Bearing in mind I need to move toward the workshop. He's within 3 spaces of the alien. He can use the grapple gun to move the alien. 1, 2, 3. I think that's the right thing to do. That's his 2nd action. Now, I definitely want to use that scrap because I don't want to turn over another Order 937 card, one of which could be the active player loses all scrap. So with 5 scrap, I think we need a motion detector and then something for 3. An electric prod. That would be really good actually, because the electric prod, again, it's a limited use thing, but it reduces the amount of morale you take from being attacked by the alien by 2. So we are going to go ahead and spend 2 scrap to make a motion detector, so we can turn over these concealed tokens from, well, without having to actually enter the room. And we are going to make, with the remaining 3 scrap, an electric prod. Then if I need to, I can actually use Dallas to lead the alien around. Oh, well, I should have turned the grapple gun over because I used it once to move the alien. So this indicates it only has 1 more use left. But if I need to now, I can use Dallas to bait the alien at reduced risk of morale loss. So that is that, I don't think that's even the end of Dallas's turn. This is why I really should have a die here. So let me know how many actions he's taken. So let me just double check. Crafting. So I've made 2 things, moved in, picked up. He moved there anyway, didn't he? So he picked up the scrap, that was 1. He made 2 things, that's 3. And now, oh, and he moved the alien away, that's 4. He used one of his items. So he's got 1 more move. Okay, so we'll move into there. And that's Dallas. We do now have to turn over an encounter card. Okay, not good. It's an alien stalk card, but he's far enough away that he's not actually going to encounter any of the crew. So it moves 3. And who's the closest? Oh, shit. 1, 2, 3. Oh, that is... yeah. Well, that's not terrible. Although it could be. It's definitely going to go towards Dallas because he's only 4 away. Parker is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 away. So that's going to happen. 1, down to maintenance, 2, 3. It's in the room next to Dallas. Here's my thinking. I can use the grapple gun because it's Dallas's turn now. So that was the... No, it wasn't. It's Parker's turn now. Oh, shit. Yeah, that was the encounter on the end of Dallas's turn. I'm really glad I made an electric prod. Because I think Dallas is going to have to... There's nothing that Parker can do. It's Parker's turn now, so he's going to drop his coolant in equipment suit storage. So that's going to half complete the prep suit's objective. Now what's he going to do? Because he can't help Dallas. He's got nothing. He's got no equipment. All crew members in the workshop and drop 2 coolant canisters in suit storage. Well, he's done that. There's 1. Now he needs to make it to the workshop. The thing is, to get there, he's used 1 action to drop the coolant. 2, 3, 4. He's clearly not going to do that. 2, 3, 4. That would leave him 1, 2, 3 away from the alien. 2, 3, 4. That still leaves him 1, 2, 3 away from the alien. But the alien's going to go after Dallas when I turn over this encounter card. Yeah. You know, I think we could still do it. I'm just going to have to take this morale loss on the chin. It's not going to be too bad because Dallas does have the grapple gun. Or, not the grapple gun, sorry. I mean, he has the grapple gun, but he has the electric prod. So we'll take 2 less morale from the alien encountering him. So if I were to move Parker, right, he's dropped the coolant, that was 1. There's 2, there's 3. I'm not going to do 4, but I'll just stop there. So I turn this encounter card over. It's probably going to move the alien because they're both the same distance away. I can choose which one it goes for. So I'll send it after Dallas, which will then force Dallas to move 3 spaces away, which would take him to 1, 2, 3, almost to the workshop, which is where these guys both need to be. And he still has the grapple gun and he can move the alien away from Parker. So that's the plan. Wow, that could have been really bad. That's another stalk card. The alien moves 3 towards the nearest crew. Both crew are the same distance away, so I choose to move it into Dallas. It's going to do 3 morale damage, but because Dallas has the electric prod, he takes 2 less. So that's 1 use on the electric prod. Only got 1 left. So the morale marker only moves 1. Dallas, and it's not his turn yet, now must flee 3 spaces away from the alien. He has to move the full 3 spaces, and I get to choose which way to move him. So 1, 2, 3. That's good because it means he doesn't have to turn over that conceal token, and he has a motion tracker. That could have been a lot worse. That's the end of Parker's turn. Now it's Dallas. So he can expend his grapple gun to move the alien away. So 1, 2, 3. That's not great. 1, 2, 3. I could put it in the nest. That would allow Parker to get past on his next turn, assuming I don't draw a really bad encounter card. But I think instead I'll first use the motion tracker to turn this over, because that could be the alien. And then he will definitely use the grapple gun to move the alien up there and out of the way, allowing Parker a clear run to the workshop so I can complete that what's the damage objective. We'll do that. First we're going to use the motion tracker, so that's 1. It is not the alien. Okay, that's good news. Because moving the alien up, if that had been the alien and the alien spawned in the workshop, I can move it with a grapple gun, but 1, 2, 3, it's only 2 away from, everybody. That's bad. That not being anything is the best possible outcome because it means I can now use the grapple gun to move the alien. 1, 2, 3. Put it back in the nest, giving everybody a better chance of getting out. So that was his second action. Motion tracker, revealed the concealed token. Grapple gun, which is now expended. You only get 2 uses. And now he can move to the workshop. Can't pick up the coolant, although he doesn't need it. He's got coolant on him. And wait a minute. Hang on a minute. Ein Minuten bitte. 2 actions. Motion tracker, grapple gun. 3, pick up the scrap. 4, oh, that would just leave him back there. No, I'll leave the scrap there. I can pick it up with Parker. So he now moves to the workshop. That's the end of Dallas's turn. I do have to turn over an encounter card. If this is a stalk or a hunt card, it's going to get Parker. And Parker doesn't have any means of reducing morale damage. But I could just run him 1, 2, 3 up here. We'll see what happens. Order 937. Each crew loses 1 scrap. If Ash is in the ship, and he isn't, we're not playing with him, move him 2 spaces. Although the final mission could introduce Ash into the ship. So that's alright. Crew don't have any scrap. I don't actually suffer any negative effects from that. That's probably the best card I could have turned over. So that was Dallas's turn. Now it's Parker. He gets 4 moves. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2 crew. All of the crew are now in the workshop. This task is now complete. 1 final objective. Prep the suits, which just means we need to get Dallas with his coolant, excuse me, Dallas with his coolant to suit storage, or pick up that coolant on Parker and do it with him. Either way, we just need 1 more. You can see how much easier this is if you play with fewer crew. So that was 4 moves, wasn't it? 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the end of Parker's turn. Let's see what the alien does. Shit. Okay, that actually could have been worse. It's another hunt card, so the alien moves 2 spaces. Again, could have been worse. I should still be able to get everybody out of there. That was Parker's turn. Now, Dallas. I need to get Dallas to suit storage. Fortunately, Dallas has 5 actions. 1, 2. I could pick up the scrap. 3. And still get him a fair distance away. I think I'll risk it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, this is not going to be good. I just realised what's happened now. The chances are excellent that the alien is going to move at least 1 space, and it will move straight toward Parker, who is trapped in the workshop, because even if it only moves 1, it's going to cut him off in maintenance. Well, there's nothing I can do about that. Let's see what the encounter card is. Yep, it's a stalk card. Ooh, and it moves 3. 1, 2, 3. So it jumps Parker and it does 3 morale damage. And I can't mitigate that at all because Parker doesn't have an electric prod. Okay. At the same time though, it does basically mean that I give Parker a free move. 1, 2, 3. And I don't actually need to be down here anymore for anything. So yeah, that could have been a lot worse. That was Dallas's encounter card. Now it's Parker's turn. Drop a coolant canister in the suit storage. I can't really do a huge amount with Parker. Although I will at least generate, I just need to keep him away from the alien. I'll generate 1 scrap with his special ability, which leaves him 3 moves. And we'll move him 1, 2, just the 2, I think. Yeah. No, 3. I want him at least 2 spaces away from the med bay. Because I want to pick up all of the scrap in the med bay, which means I'll need to use Dallas's motion tracker to turn over that concealed token. And I don't want to end Dallas's turn. But then again, if it is the alien, you don't draw an encounter card, because that's a surprise alien attack. We'll see what happens, but we'll leave him there. And that's the end of his turn. Our encounter card is... Ooh, yeah, that could have been worse. So that was the end of Parker's turn. It's another Order 937 card. This is why playing with a smaller number of crew is better. This one is the crew expendable card. The active crew member loses all scrap tokens. I basically wasted an action there on Parker generating one piece of scrap. Shuffle all Order 937 encounter cards back into the encounter deck. If Ash is in the ship, he is not yet, although he may be as a result of our final mission, and no crew member is with him, move him 2 spaces. So now, this is why we go back and get all of the Order 937 cards, and we put them back in the deck. So we are running out of good cards, the quiet ones, which help us, or don't hinder us as much, and we're just stuffing the card full of the bad cards. The ones that hurt us. Stuffing the deck full of the bad cards, the ones that do hurt us. So the longer the game goes on, the harder it is. And with more crew, the game will go on longer. So that was Parker's turn. It's back to Dallas. So, 1, 2, 3. He's going to drop his coolant canister in suit storage. That completes the prep suits objective. All 3 of our initial objectives are now complete, and I get to look at our final mission card. What was that? 1, 2, 3. Yeah. So he still has 1 action remaining, which he could use. Oh no, he can't. It's too far away. This was something I got wrong the first time. The motion tracker is great, but it can only reveal concealed tokens not 1, 2, 3 spaces away, only 2 spaces away. So he cannot actually reveal the motion tracker, the concealed token with the motion tracker. So we're getting slightly far ahead of ourselves there. He still has 1 action remaining, but now we get to look at the final mission. So this is what we need to do to complete the game. Ah, you have my sympathies. Right, so we're going to get to see Ash. Place all discarded coolant canisters into equipment storage. So, where are the discarded coolant canisters? Oh, there are no discarded. Oh wait, no, we discarded those. So they go into equipment storage. There's already 1 in there. Place Ash at Mother, the computer room. Ash moves towards crew members when he moves. Now, Ash will move when we turn over an Order 937 card. We have to defeat Ash by dealing 3 damage to him. Whenever Ash encounters a crew member, that crew member discards a coolant canister to deal 1 damage to Ash and move Ash 3 spaces of your choice. If you do not have a coolant canister on you when Ash encounters a crew member, you lose 3 morale and flee 3 spaces. When Ash is defeated, remove him from the ship. Once we've done that, we have to use an incinerator on the alien nest after Ash has been defeated. And that will win the game. So, Dallas still has 1 action. We need coolant canisters. We have to do 3 damage to Ash? Yeah. Okay. So that's his final action. He's going to be able to pick up a coolant canister in the next turn. And I reckon I need to do the same with Parker. Oh, it's tempting. Because I need to make an incinerator. And all of that scrap is there. Here's the problem. If I move him in there without knowing what that is and it's the alien, I don't get to pick the scrap up because you immediately turn over the concealed token. Oh, anyway, that was Dallas's turn. Encounter card. You bastard! Another Order 937 card. Each crew loses 1 scrap. Well, Parker doesn't have any. Dallas loses 1 of his 2 scrap. If Ash is in the ship, and he is, move in 2 spaces. So Ash is now on the bridge, moving straight towards the nearest crew. Fantastic. So that was Dallas's turn, and now it is Parker. I think... So here are my choices. Actually, I'll read this. Whenever Ash encounters a crew member... Whenever Ash encounters a crew member, that crew member deals 1 damage to him by discarding a coolant canister. Instead of risking this and pulling the alien out, I'm just going to move Parker 1, 2, pick up a coolant canister, 3, 4. Because Ash is going to move towards him, or he's going to move towards Ash. And he's going to bonk him over the head with the coolant canister. That's actually how Ash was killed or defeated in the movie. Once they discovered he was an android, Parker smacked him over the head with a coolant canister and knocked his head off. And then after interrogating him, he toasted him with an incinerator. So that's the end of Parker's turn. I do need an encounter card though. Quiet on the bridge. So the alien moves 1, but we generate 1 scrap and 1 concealed token on the bridge. So, and 1 scrap. Now, who's the closest crewman? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or... yeah, it's definitely Dallas. So the alien moves 1 toward Dallas. I can live with that. I forgot to move the whose turn marker it is. It's Dallas's turn now. I don't want to lose that scrap. So I am going to... can I actually... no, I can't make anything with 1 scrap. Brett could. I was thinking of making a flashlight to further reduce any morale damage he takes, but that requires 2, so I can't actually do anything with that 1 scrap. But I can pick up a coolant canister. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Keeping everybody well away from the alien and heading towards Ash, which is what we need. It's a shame you can only carry 1 coolant, because we need to hit him 3 times. So that's the end of Dallas's turn. Encounter card. Order 937. Crew expendable. The active crew member loses 1 scrap. Well, the active crew member is... this was Dallas's turn. So he loses his last piece of scrap. Shuffle all Order 937 encounter cards back into the encounter deck. I don't think I have, because I think I just did. Oh wait, no, that one goes back in. Okay, collating data. And that is the only other Order 937 card. So these cards both now get shuffled back into the encounter deck. But if Ash is in the ship and no crew member is with him, move in 2 spaces. Alright, so he moves towards Dallas, who immediately smacks him over the face with the coolant canister. Which I believe I have to discard. Yes, discard a coolant canister. Okay, so that goes there. Actually, I'll put it over here to keep track of how many times Ash has been smacked with a coolant canister, because otherwise I'll forget. So that's 1 damage of the 3 that we need to do, and we move in 3 spaces of our choice. 1, 2, 3. Whenever Ash encounters a crew member, that crew member must discard 1 coolant canister, which we'll put there, to smack Ash in the face and move him 3 spaces of their choice. So I want to move him away from equipment storage, which is where the easiest to get to coolant canister is, depending on where the alien moves. There are a lot of coolant canisters scattered around near the alien. So that was great, but I do have to shuffle these 2 cards back into the deck. Yeah. And we'll give it a shuffle. I'm pretty sure that the only cards left in the deck at this point are Order 937 and Alien Hunt and Stalker cards. So that was that Dallas's turn? Yeah, that was Dallas's turn. I keep forgetting to move this. That was Dallas's turn. That was the encounter that Dallas pulled, which moved Parker 3 spaces of my choice. Sorry, not Parker. Ash 3 spaces of my choice to Parker. Now I have to move Ash 3 spaces away. Where's he going to go? I think it's going to have to be this way. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to need to get into the med bay, because I'm going to need that scrap to make an incinerator. Okay. That was it. Now it's Parker's turn, because that was the encounter card that Dallas turned over, so Parker's turn. Parker's going to head straight back down here for 1, pick up another coolant canister for 2, 3, 4. And now he's going to turn over an encounter card, and I really hope it is an Order 937 card, because that will move Ash towards Parker and Parker will kill him. It is an Order 937 card. Crew expendable. The active crew member loses all scrap tokens. He doesn't have any. Shuffle all Order 937 encounter cards back into the encounter deck. Okay, that's fine. Ash is in the ship. No crew member is with him. Move in 2 spaces. 1, 2. Ash has just encountered a crew member who discards his coolant canister. We'll put it over here with the others. To smack Ash over the head and kill him. Ash is now eliminated. Which means now all I have to do to complete that final objective is to use an incinerator on the alien after Ash has been defeated. This gets shuffled back into the deck, and now the Order 937 cards are actually helping me because there's no possibility of Ash coming back. We've killed him. And the alien doesn't move on an Order 937 card. The only thing I have to worry about is turning over an Order 937 card and forcing it to drop all of my scrap. But that ain't going to happen because the second I pick that scrap up, I'm just going to make an incinerator with it. And then I just have to use it on the alien. And we win. And we still have plenty of morale to go. So that was an extremely good turn for Parker. Now it's Dallas. So I need to use the motion tracker on that. Because I don't want to turn... The alien hasn't moved because I keep turning over 937 cards. This is great. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. Keeps the boys together. 2 spaces away. Use the motion tracker. That's his 5th and final action. What do we got? And it's Jonesy, but there's nobody in there for him to scare. He leaps out. He goes, oh, there's nobody here. And we discard him. So that's fantastic. Does that count as an encounter? It doesn't count as an encounter. I need to check the rules. I think it's only if you encounter the alien as a result of turning over a concealed token. Because I know that if you initiate a surprise attack from the alien as a result of turning over a concealed token, then you don't draw an encounter card. But I'm pretty sure that doesn't count as a surprise attack from the cat because it never attacked anybody, and 2, it's the cat. So let's have a look. Okay, check the rules. No, I still have to draw an encounter card, but what I should have done is shuffle Jonesy back into the concealed deck. So go ahead and do that. There we go. Right, that's the end of Dallas's turn. We used the motion tracker, that was his final action. I now need to turn an encounter card over because that doesn't count as a skip. It's another Order 937 card. Meet me in the infirmary. The active crew member moves to the med bay. You jammy bastard. Again, the alien doesn't move. If Ash is in the ship, he isn't. So that's fine. That was the end of Dallas's turn. Now it's Parker's turn. So Parker is going to move 1, 2, pick up all of that scrap. How much do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4. Exactly the amount that I need to make an incinerator. Now I have an incinerator. Ho, ho, ho. So that was he the, oh yeah, that's his last action. That's fine. I think. This is why I need some kind of dice on here to keep track of how many actions people have used. Was he here? 1, 2, pick up, craft. Yeah, that was it. So that's Parker's turn. Now we turn over another encounter card. And it's a quiet card. So the alien does move toward the nearest crew, but they're both in the same room. This is great. I want the alien to come to me because now I have an incinerator. We generate 2 scrap and a concealed token in Mother. Yeah, we'll put it there because the game tells me to, but I don't really care. Discard that. That was the end of Parker's turn. Now it's Dallas. I'm going to spend 1 action to trade the incinerator with Dallas. The incinerator can be used on the alien within 3 spaces. So that was 1, 2, 1 action to fire the incinerator. 1, 2, 3. Torch the alien. Victory! Use an incinerator on the alien after Ash has been defeated. And that is how you win Alien Fate of the Nostromo. Play it on easy mode with as few crew members as you possibly can. Right, I'm feeling uncommonly pleased with myself. I have kicked the arse of the game that's been kicking my arse for the last month. So it was not just beginner's luck the first time I played this, although there's probably an element of that involved. Because the first time I played this, I played with only one crew. And I found it very, very easy to beat the game. The second time I played it, I had Eddie over, and we each controlled 2 crew. So there were 4 crew in play, and we got our asses handed to us. So that's the trick, that's the secret of this game. It kind of has a built-in self-regulating scaling difficulty level. It gets harder the more crew you play with. So if you beat it with 1, try beating it with 2. If you beat it with 2, try beating it with 3. Although I think once you go up to 3 crew, that's when the real difficulty curve starts kicking in. But it is I love this game. It's not difficult to learn how to play. It takes 5 minutes to set the board up, and it usually won't take more than an hour to complete it, whether you beat it or not. It's a great little game to play, and I noticed a bunch of you in the comments of the last video said that you've gone out and bought it, and I really hope you're enjoying it yourself. Sadly, I'm not getting any I'm not getting any kickbacks from the makers of the game. But if you're playing it and you're enjoying it, that's really all the payment I need. And I think next we'll be having a go at something a little bit, well, again, alien related. Aliens, Another Glorious Day in the Core, which a couple of accessories just today arrived for, which do not come with the base game. But there are all kinds of, there's a huge cottage industry that's grown up on Etsy, the craftsperson's marketplace, where people just build stuff and sell them to the world, where you can get all kinds of accessories and tokens and markers and all kinds of stuff for these kind of board games. So I've taken advantage of some of that, and we'll be showing off. The next time I do one of these board games, it will be Aliens, Another Glorious Day in the Core. So I hope you've enjoyed that one, and if you have bought this game, good for you, because it's amazing, and I really hope you're enjoying it. Until the next time, as always, take care, stay safe, and I'll catch you next time.